This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. I shoot my shot and it's clean. This for my city, yeah, this for my team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion. I'm a team. If you talking, it's all to me nice. I play with all of my life. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm a champion.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a Thursday edition of YSN Live. Broadcasting live on Facebook, on YouTube, twice over, by the way, on 440 Sports, as well as on Twitch. Still haven't figured that one out. On X, on
the website.
ysnlive.com, and as of today, on Instagram.
Yeah, I see the check mark. We're officially on Instagram. Let's go.
We're officially on. Oh, and we're coming for you, TikTok. Once we figure this out, we're coming for you. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. DJ Yoakley, Anthony Hartwig with you here on this Thursday. Anthony, big day in sports today. Our beloved Canfield Cardinals in action tonight against Warrensville Heights. And we will have it for you here on YSN thanks to a loving, caring, and generous sponsor in LD3 Logistics. So thank you to them. First-time sponsor, and looking forward to an even bigger and better opportunity with them down the road. So thanks to them. Make sure that you reach out and say thank you, any way you can, social media, whatever. Say thank you to them for their sponsorship of tonight's contest. And I like the odds here. I like the odds.
And looking really good for the Cardinals, especially the way they've been playing. If they win, we'll have 4 teams in the regional finals this weekend. So hoping the Cardinals can. And that's going to be a good news, good odds for YSN to get someone in the state this year on the boys' side, which it's been. I don't think we've had someone on the boys' side of basketball get in the states. Well, last year, Ursuline, but before it last year, like it was a drought. So the 2 years in a row, we're getting people into state. It was a long time before last year on the boys' side for our teams getting into state for boys basketball in the area. So 2 years in a row now, we have a legitimate chance this year. Last year, we got Ursuline there. This year, we have a legitimate chance to get someone else there. Anyone that wants to say Northeast Ohio basketball is on the downturn or not playing well, I beg to differ. I beg to differ strongly.
And I feel like, even after winning a state championship with Hoban, people still kind of snub their nose at what we do here in the Northeast quarter or region, so to speak. And I also don't like that people are like, wow, Hoban's not North. What do you mean Hoban's not Northeast Ohio? What are you talking about? Well, they're not Youngstown. Doesn't matter. If you split up Ohio into 4 quadrants, we're in the quadrant with Archbishop Hoban.
Right.
Like they are one of us.
It's like people want it to be like northeast, east Ohio. The small little section is just we're only Northeast Ohio. They're more North Ohio. It's crazy.
I'll never forget getting into an argument with my sister. And she's saying, and now she grew up in the same beloved household that I did in East Palestine, Ohio, right? But she's like, oh yeah, and she moved to Cleveland. Ohio's not, or East Palastine's not Northeast. I'm like, wait. So we're not Southeast. I know that. It's crazy. When things are good, right? Mm-hmm. Cleveland, when things are great, people will gravitate towards Cleveland. When things are bad, they stay away. They stay far, far away from that. Or it's not just Cleveland. It's everywhere. Northeast Ohio basketball forever for the win. And I think tonight, man, I'm really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to kicking back and catching it. I have a great opportunity tonight that I'm looking forward to at the Eastwood Mall. They're having their fashion show, and it's the theme is high school sports and high schools in general. And the Youngstown Clothing Company reached out and said, "Hey, we would love to have you pop in, be the MC for this." Dude, I'm geeked up because there's like $8,500 on the line for some of these schools. I know Mooney's going to be one. Ursuline's one. Hubbard's in there. Springfield's in there. South Range is in there. There's a ton of schools that are in there, and the winner gets $5,000 to their school. Second place is $2,500. Third place is $1,000. If you're not doing anything tonight, come on out to the Eastwood Mall, and it is going to be a spectacle. And we are going to light that place up like no other. I cannot wait. I'm kicking all the energy drinks I possibly can. I just got a feeling that place is going to be electric tonight.
No, for a second I thought you were going to say that you were, walking the walk in the fashion show with Youngstown Clothing Company, but you're emceeing it, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I was just a little excited. I thought DJ was going to put on some Youngstown Clothing shirts and walk the line a little bit, strut, on
the catwalk. I'm too sexy for my shirt, so sexy that it hurts. Oh, baby. I would do it. I'm down. I'll start snapping those hips. No, I'm definitely just gonna hold the microphone and talk about how exciting and how awesome this thing's gonna be tonight. Make sure you pop out. Starts at 6:30. I'm guessing you're gonna want to get there early. Wild guess, shot in the dark, if you will. So, yeah, and then I'll be watching Canfield the entire way home.
Yeah, they play it. It's good timing. They're the later game tonight, so they're going to start around 8:00, depending on how long the first district semifinal goes. Regional semifinal goes tonight in Canton. So they'll be kind of the late game, so it kind of works out in your favor a little bit.
Just tuned in. The show is already awesome.
Oh yeah, this is how we do it, guys. You never know what you're in for when you pop in YSN Live.
I heard rousing response from yesterday. Like, they loved yesterday's show. I've been told many times already that they are going to be sending you shovels. So you're going to have a lot of shovels, yes, Anthony, to open up packages.
All the shovels.
Which makes
feeling
no
like
sense.
The Disney movie Holes. Call me caveman.
All right, we had 1 million people tuning in, and you just lost every one of them.
It's okay.
Right,
we got someone in the background that's gonna bring them right back.
You let me do the segues. Stop! You're digging yourself a hole with the 18 shovels that you have. All right, this is called an intro. Anthony, get ready, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we bring in the NCAC Newcomer of the Year, who also, coincidentally, was last year's Big Dog of the Year in basketball. Also, she is the #1 guard in the country in Division III in scoring as a freshman. Ladies and gentlemen, what we thought could never be done again is now just breaking down barriers from Worcester via Boardman. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie Riccatelli. Hi, Kenz.
Hi.
Great to see you. I'd like to say that was one of the better intros we've ever done, but I could just go on and on with the resume that you've built over your lifetime of a ripe old 19, right? 18, 19? 19,
yeah.
Goodness. All right. So we got to start here. Going from Boardman to Worcester, playing at the next level is something that a lot of people think about, that they know in their heart they can do, but there is a little bit of hesitation because it is a huge jump. What has that jump been like for you, and especially the first year going through? Obviously, we've seen your success, but were there nerves? Was there any kind of trepidation to jumping into to college basketball?
Yeah, there were definitely nerves, but the coaches here and all of my teammates, they made it a lot easier to show up every day and have myself get more comfortable with everything. So everyone here has just been extremely helpful with all of those nerves, that jump from high school to college level. Yeah.
So what was the acclimation period like? Talk about how long it took you to kind of get used to this level of basketball, this speed of basketball. Was it almost instant, or did you take, a couple of weeks or months in practice before the season started to kind of get yourself used to playing basketball at this level?
Well, before the season started, we had like open gyms and stuff, so I got a feel for like the pace. Obviously, there was no shot clock during those, but yeah, in practices, I mean, I was able to just like go right in and I felt pretty comfortable. And then for games, it only took me like 1 or 2 games to really just get used to like having that shot clock and having that like much faster paced game.
I remember when you were going through the recruitment process, and I remember one of our last interviews that we did with you, and you mentioned how they didn't exactly have the record that you know were accustomed to, or that you wanted, but you thought that you fit in well there, and you thought that you can make an impact immediately. And it also came with all the great bells and whistles on the academic side as well. Did you feel like you made that impact that you wanted to the first year? Did you leave anything out there on the floor? And what was it like? I mean, from when you go into kind of a I don't want to say a jungle, when you walk into the unknown, so to speak, and people are you are the chosen one, the one that they wanted so much. You walk in there, and was it immediate kind of friendships with your teammates? Were you able to build a chemistry with them? And how did you go from being the number one leader essentially in the entire valley to going there and showing your leadership style?
Yeah, I mean, our team is very small, so we all got along very well. And just starting to play with them, it came natural. Ace, our other like point guard, it was like extremely easy to like play with her and like bounce off of her where like either one of us could bring the ball up. So like it was a lot less pressure, I guess, on myself. And I was just able to like flow with the game and start having fun while playing.
One of the other transitions from high school to college is when you're in a college locker room, you get a lot of different people from different places that have different, backgrounds, different ways of doing things. What's it been like for you to kind of be in a college locker room and to kind of mold yourself with a bunch of different athletes from different places and in different points of view?
Well, like you said, we come from all over, so it's very interesting to like be in there with all of them, and I like to like learn from each and every one of them because we all bring something different to the table. We have girls from Florida, New York, like all over the place, Michigan. So it is very nice to like be in there with all of them and like get to know them more, and then get to know like what they know.
What's the training process? I mean, you trained incredibly hard in high school. I know you still come back to put shots up in the gym on the weekends. What's the training process been like getting into college and having to balance that workload? Academically, I'm guessing there's more challenges in college than there were in high school at some point, especially as a freshman. But for you, what has that training process been like? Are they trying to put more meat on your bones? Are they trying to get you on meal placements? What is it like for you?
So yeah, like we definitely lift a lot more than I did in high school, and it's on myself to make sure that I'm eating the right food, the right amount of protein to gain that muscle because obviously, like that jump from high school to college, like you have to be strong in order to like be able to compete against these girls. Um, but yeah, I'm able to handle the balance between athletics and academics fairly well. I try to stay organized with the planner, get all my homework done early so that when we have the long days where it's either a lift throughout the day and then practice or practice and then lift and then all like the extra time in the gym that I choose to go and shoot, like I'm able to balance that pretty well.
We've talked about the jump in level of basketball from high school to college. Talk to me about just how much do you think Boardman and the schedule you guys played and the teams you guys played really prepared you for what you were going to see at the college level? How much do you kind of reflect on some of the experiences you had in high school and AAU down here in Youngstown?
It prepared me so much. I can't give enough credit to Boardman and just everyone there, not even just the people that were involved in basketball, but a lot of these games, like I said, fast paced, but that's how we played in high school. So I was used to that. I'm used to running up and down the court, like playing where I'm like not getting tired, and just like that whole extra level of defense. Even like it's just so like everything is so fast paced, but I feel like that prepared me very well.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this next question. We usually don't go down this path, but I know there's a lot of people out there that were really frustrated last year when you didn't necessarily get the accolades necessarily that a lot of people thought you deserved. Did you use that as like a chip on your shoulder going into college and say that, hey, I'm going to just go in and become the newcomer of the year? I'm going to be the top scoring guard as a freshman. Did you use any of that to kind of, fill up the gas tank?
I mean, yeah, definitely a little bit, but anyone that has heard me ever say this, like, I did not want to watch my stats at all or add up all my points that I had this season. I just wanted to go out there and play without any of that extra pressure. Because, like, last year, towards the end, when I was near that 1,000-point mark, I was definitely nervous and just thinking about it the whole time. So I allowed myself to just not think and just go out there and play, and then whatever happened, happened. And, yeah, I think that that's the best way for myself to go about it.
So I always like asking college athletes what their welcome to college, sports moment was. What was your welcome to college basketball moment where you really realized, okay, this is different, this is real, and this is where I'm at now?
That's a great question. Maybe when we started conference play, just because, like, I've always heard, like, how good our conference is and how good these teams were, but then, like, when you're actually out there playing and, like, you see the level that these girls can play at, and then, like, you're playing with them, and then 1 minute you look up at the score and, like, you're down by, like, 30. I guess, like, that was a really, like, a moment where I really realized that, all right, like, these girls are good, like, we gotta try to keep with them.
All right, Ken. So there's a lot of talk about NIL in college. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of there's a lot still up in the air about it. Now that you are one of the top players in Division III and specifically in your conference, do you see yourself looking at potentially getting some deals out there and trying to help yourself financially?
I have actually never even thought about that, so I could not give you an answer right now on that. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can give you an answer. How about we do this? You and I link up and we do the first ever YSN NIL deal for Mackenzie Riccatelli at Worcester.
I'd be 100% in, you know that.
We'll figure it out. I want this to happen. We're incredibly
All right.
proud of you from that standpoint. We'll get with your agent that just happens to be your dad, and we'll get it linked up and we'll make things official. We've been looking to jump into that pool, and certainly I don't think there's anybody better to kind of carry the flag than you. Which brings me to my question. I hear there's this humongous trophy that they sent you already. Do you have it? Is it with you right now?
Yes.
Go get it right now.
You get it.
It's right here.
I was waiting for this huge trophy.
No.
Like, I thought it was going to be as big as you were.
No.
Come on, NCAC. You're better than that. What's tuition like at Worcester these days?
Crazy.
Come on.
It's crazy.
To have, I mean, honestly, in all seriousness, to be able to be named the quote unquote rookie of the year, which is what we call it, the newcomer of the year. What does that mean to you? And you said you don't look at your stats, but there's got to be something, Ken's, where you're sitting there and you're looking over the scouting report, or you're getting double teamed in college basketball as a freshman, and you're like, okay, I might be doing something right here.
Yeah, I think it's just like this really just shows like the hard work that I've put in and all the time that I've spent like in the gym or just like working on other things that would help me with the game. I think that's the most important thing, just to like always remember that I have been working hard.
I know we joked about your dad being your agent, and he's one of the big reasons why anyone in the area can find out how you're doing, because he's like your biggest fan on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. What does it mean to you to just continue this basketball journey and see the passion that he brings to not just your high school career, but now that you're out of the nest a little bit, the passion he brings to your college career as well?
It means so much just to like have him there at all the games, because I'm not the closest. I mean, I'm an hour and a half away, and the closest game I think was Hiram to home. So he has to travel so far to like even watch me play. But then he makes sure that when I come home, he's in the gym with me. He's always like texting me different things to try to encourage me or help me out, give me like little tips of advice. And it just means so much.
All right, I wasn't going to bring it up, but this is a natural segue into the next question. The note that you wrote to your dad.
Yeah.
As a dad, I mean, I'm trying hard not to sit there and fight tears back. For you, what made you feel like that was the right time to send that note? Not that there's ever a good time or a bad time for it, but to send that note to him and what you said in there. Can you just give a synopsis to everybody about what was going through your mind, what you said and why you said it?
Yeah, so like a little background on that. We've actually done a lot of like mental training as a team. And then the one thing that we did was like things that you're grateful for. It's always important to like remind yourself what you're grateful for. And it was like a little exercise that we did where we wrote a couple of people we were grateful for. And then at the end, it was an option to write a letter to one of them. And right after that, we actually received letters from family members. And I got one from Coach Hamilton too, just like giving us words of encouragement to get through the rest of the season. So I chose to write mine to my dad, obviously, because he has just been the most influential person in my life. And I basically just told him all the things that I wish I told him more about how grateful I was for him, how I'll never be able to repay him for all of the time and money that he's spent on me and this sport. And just basically telling him that like I love him and I appreciate him because I don't say it enough.
Ken's, one of my last questions for you is, you talked about what your teammates bring and how interesting it's been to watch, and learn from the teammates that bring everything from their hometown. What do you think you bring from Boardman that is specific to Youngstown in this area that you bring to the locker room that you learned from this growing up here?
I would just say my competitiveness, like always showing up, working my hardest, out on the court, giving it my all. And I feel like that's definitely like helped. We have so much potential on this team to be a good basketball team. And if we just put all of those little pieces together, then I think we'll be good.
Ken's last question for me. What do you wish somebody would have told you going into your first year of college or college basketball that you now know, you understand very vividly, but you wish someone would have warned you or prepared you for as you graduated your senior year of high school and your first year of being a freshman?
I don't really know if this has to do with like the actual like game and like the physicality of it, but just having fun and not letting little things affect you. And I think towards like the middle to end of the season, I really like stopped letting things affect me. I wasn't in my head at all. It's just like, just go give it your all and have fun. Like you've got nothing to lose. And yeah.
We're so proud of you. I mean, from pillar to post, you've been one of our favorite players to cover. And for the chip on your shoulder, we think you got everything you deserved. We threw the book, because we thought you were that good. And by golly, did you go out and prove it to everybody in the entire world that not only are you absolutely phenomenal, but we kind of know what we're talking about when it comes to local area athletes. Mackenzie Riccatelli, we are so freaking proud of you. Thank you so much for spending some time. Congratulations on all your success. We know there's going to be a ton more. And make sure that you stop by, because word is you're going to be with us on March 22nd for the All-Star game. You're going to be hanging out. Bring your little trophy, too. We'll put that on full display. Maybe do some autographs.
It might stay here.
Thank you, Kenz. We appreciate you. Go study something while you're at it, okay?
Thank you so much for having me on.
You got it, Kenz. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie Riccatelli. Nobody better. That was not planned, the trophy thing. Her dad texted me and said, wait till you see the trophy that she got. I was amped up because I'm like thinking I got a karate trophy. I swear to God, Anthony, it was as tall as I was back in like fourth grade. I was expecting that was the NCAC trophy. And I was like, okay, when she didn't peel away from her desk I was like,
Just kinda-
uh-oh.
I'll just get it right here.
Let me just pull it out of this Polly Pocket gift set here. I mean,
Oh, man.
nice trophy. I
It's
mean,
awesome.
grateful. We don't want to make fun at that, but I completely misread that text message. I thought it was going to be some like humongous piece of hardware.
Donnie probably saw it, and his pride probably just made it huge, because that's just the way Donnie operates. He probably saw that, and the pride that he had in his heart for Mackenzie probably made that look like it was a massive plaque that you'd have to hold up with two hands.
But it's a situation where it doesn't matter what the trophy is. The accomplishment of being the newcomer of the year, the player of the year for first year students, and that's incredible. And to lead the entire country in Division III for freshman scorers out of Worcester, out of Boardman, Ohio. So many people saying that she didn't deserve it. She's not that good. She just excuse me. I mean, for everything that she's gone through, for the things that we don't cover, the shenanigans, if you will, the political aspect of what goes into the awards season, right? We try to keep it as straight-laced and this is the way it is. We're not perfect. We know that.
Right.
But we don't claim to be. We're not, we try not to make it about us. Whereas, there's other entities that pick out this many and these are the best, but it's only because X, Y, or Z. Like, if a kid gets something, we're never going to knock them. It's not the kid's fault. But she was far and away one of the top players. I mean, if she wasn't one of the top 5 players in this area, I don't know who was.
And you look at the athletes she had to go up against too. I mean, it was a really awesome senior class that we had at YSN last year. The All-Star game last year was proof of that on the girls' side. I mean, you look at the players that graduated, Ashley Schroeds, you look at Sophia Gregory, what she did at YSU, freshman of the year. In the Horizon League, you look at, Alyssa Masucci from Howland.
Sure.
You look at Canfield, the seniors that they graduated, the 4 seniors that they graduated, just in the conference. I mean, Ayla Ray was on that basketball team as well. She had to go up against some quality athletes just in the area to kind of put her name on that list of top 5 basketball players in Northeast Ohio, in our opinion, our humble opinion, for what it's worth. But you look at the names that were also on the list of maybe top 10, top 15, and it's star-studded.
I mean, top to bottom, it's incredible. And obviously, Sophia Gregory is holding it down at YSU, and there's an awful lot of what are we having a steel cage match out there? What are we doing?
Sounds
Can you
like
hear
it.
That? Holy crap!
Sounds like people are like banging chairs against each other.
It's like Macho Man versus Hogan out in the.
You asked for no vacuum, and they got the vacuum out. Now this is what you get.
I'm really starting to think they hate me at athletics. I'm really starting to think they absolutely despise me. Hey, you guys having a steel cage match? Are they fighting out there?
Just chairs.
Jeez Louise. Just chairs. That's all it was. They hate me, Ant. They absolutely hate my guts. No, I mean, we have, again, from the top of the show, we talked about Northeast Ohio getting it done in basketball. And here we are, one of the best D3 players in the country here in Boardman, Ohio. Mm-hmm. And one of the best D1 players in the country from West Branch. You look at what are we, why are we even arguing this? Like, this isn't, to me, it's not an arguing point anymore. It's a non-starter. We are amongst the best. We are if not the best quadrant in the state of Ohio, we are at least in the top 2.
Yeah, I mean, in every sport, but basketball, we're making our strides up. We're on the uptick for basketball. I get it. If you look maybe 10 years ago, basketball in this area, probably not the best. but I think people are kind of locked into that. They don't see the growth that our area kids have made in basketball over the last decade. And I think, when we see West Branch and their run to state that COVID year, and then McDonald the year after, and then, we've had Springfield go to state in girls basketball. It was 3 straight years where we had an area team, girls basketball, go to state. Then we had Hoban win the state championship. Ursuline goes to state. We have 3, maybe 4 teams if Canfield wins tonight in a regional final with 1 step away from going to state. We could have, if Hoban and Louisville both win their regional championship, an all Northeast Ohio state semifinal with the way it lines up. So, once again, talk to me a little bit more about how basketball is on the downturn in Northeast Ohio. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear the argument.
I can't make this up, Anthony. Now there's a drone flying around. And you can hear it. Do you hear it?
I don't hear it. Must be one of those stealth drones.
Nope. It sounds like a bag full of bees. There it is. This is unbelievable.
It's happening.
What the hell is going on here today?
They found you, DJ. Turn
This
the
is
lights off. Get on the floor. It's over.
I'm going to start flying my drone around here.
I forgot we had a drone.
So did everybody else, except Brian. Brian reminds me every day how much we spent on that drone during COVID.
Well, now we have a reason to use it.
Hey, sometimes when you're bored, your better judgment gets the best of you when you're on Facebook Marketplace. Just saying. So there wasn't a whole lot going on in 2020. The story of YSN's drone that we've never used. Yeah, congratulations, Mackenzie Riccatelli. We're again, so proud of you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And like you and I kind of talked about the guests and why it's important to reach out to some of these players after is because other players that are juniors and seniors and freshmen and sophomore and even little kids and parents want to know, hey, what's it like at the next level? So you can prepare because nobody's telling you this stuff. Like when you're going on college visits, nobody's telling you that the crappy parts of the gig and what you should know. And that's why the question at the end is so important of, hey, what would you tell someone now that's going through what you went through last year? Because a lot of times you're not going to get the real scoop. And I don't think Mackenzie's ever going to, shortchange us or she's going to, hold back. But to be able to relay what it's really like, because most people think that they're going to be able to pardon me, do what they do in high school, right? Mm-hmm. Go in and make an immediate impact because they don't change anything, right? Their diet stays the same, their weight regimen stays the same, their lifting all that stuff. But it's not the case. It's you have to take your game and your training to an entire another level, because as I tell everybody, right, you have people that are coming from all over the country. And Mackenzie said Florida and a couple other states, they're coming to these colleges because these colleges now, the world is smaller than ever with the internet and being able to watch film and watch tape and scout and go get prospects. You're going against not just the best in your county, not just the best in your state, not just the best in your region. You're going against the best in the country. And I don't care if you're D1, D2, D3, JUCO, NAIA, doesn't matter. They're trying to compete for championships because at the next level, as we've said so many times, and we will say so many more, coaches are not your science professors. They are there to win games. That is their sole goal. That's not the case in high school. High school, yes, they're there to win, but they're there to teach you and make you better people.
And a college coach's livelihood and job depends on them winning. They will be fired if they're not winning. And a high school coach, you probably, unless it's ridiculous, like they haven't won in 5 years, someone might be like, hey, you know what, maybe we should move on. But one losing season is not enough to can a high school coach in most cases. College, if you're in a college that has high expectations and you come out with a 6-22 record, they're going to be like, well, maybe we should go a different way.
Yeah, because winning
You know?
matters. Recruitment
Winning.
matters.
Mhm.
And, you know,
And
most people don't understand that, Anthony. And it's nothing personal. It's and that's what I had to understand, right? This isn't personal. This is business.
mhm.
And if you're not the best in the business, you either get better or you get the hell out. Those are your two options.
You'll probably get a better scope of this if you go back and watch Mackenzie's interviews from when she signed to Worcester, when we were asking her about what made her decision to be to have that be her home. But she also made a very good recruiting process decision. She found a school that she fit in at, that played her style of basketball very well, a coaching staff that was going to depend on her to come in and make an immediate impact. She picked the right spot that was going to let her thrive. That is so important. There are probably other places in Division III where if she made the wrong decision or was in the wrong program, the wrong style, maybe she doesn't do as well. She picked the right situation to go into at Worcester. That is so important when you're being recruited. You can't just look at, oh, this team's winning a lot, so boom, it's going to be a good fit. Or, oh, this team, I really like their coach, so boom. There's so many factors that will help you thrive. Do they play the same level of same style of basketball that is equivalent to what you're playing? Like, they like to play a lot of fast tempo basketball. Mackenzie, one of her best assets is her speed, right? So obviously going to a college basketball program that wants to play fast and play in transition, that's a good fit for Mackenzie. If she went to a college program that liked to slow things down, play things in the half court, probably not as good of a fit. So going in the recruitment and being a smart recruiter, or a smart recruitee, I should say, and knowing where you're going to fit best was also very important, and why we're seeing Mackenzie thrive the way she is at Worcester.
Well, there's also an element of humility that you have to go into the recruitment process with, because most people they're either in their junior or senior years. If you're thinking about playing at the next level, that means you've probably got some accolades that you've built up already. Varsity athlete, obviously. JV. I'm sure there's JV athletes out there that have tried to get recruited. I'm sure of it. But when you look at your resume, or a coach at the next level looks at your resume, if you don't have varsity on it, that's pretty much an automatic. Okay, well, if you're on this team, you're coming here specifically because we need the extra $2,000 to go on our spring trip. That's pretty much all it is. But the reality of the situation is the humility that an athlete must go in with. This is the ultimate, because nowadays, and parents have to understand the same thing. When you roll in, your kid is most likely not a Division I starter right out of the gate. Most likely, most cases, right? I'm talking 90 to 95% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't get past my kid's D1. And that's a problem. That's a real problem, because there's plenty of D2 out there. There are D3 out the wazoo. And what are we going to school for? I mean, honestly, let's have a real conversation at the dinner table tonight about what are we looking to do. If you're looking to go to college to be drafted to go to a professional league, we need to really have a deeper conversation with coaches, with trainers, with people that have been there and done that. I'm not talking about guys like me. I'm not talking about max preps. Don't go to your please do not go to your pitching coach or your summer ball coach. Like, you need to have someone, unless they've been there and done that themselves, you don't have that conversation with them. You need to go have just straight up conversations with people that have been drafted to let them know, or have your son or your daughter or yourself know what it takes. Like, the sacrifice that is to be made. Oh, by the way, once you are drafted, the odds of going to a professional, like landing in Major League Baseball, landing in Major League Softball, landing in the NFL, landing all these different opportunities, right? You go from 1 in 5 to to one of 2 to 1 of 5,000 to 1 of 10,000 to 1 of 50,000 to 1 of 1 million. I mean, the odds, and I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm saying if a D3 college comes to you, they have your what you want to study, right? So if you want to be a teacher and you want to be a professional baseball player, you should probably have a backup plan, right? And I heard it all my life, and I pushed against it, and I said, nope, because I'm ready for a growth spurt. I'm 5'4.5". I'm waiting because I'm going to go 5'11" over the summer. Guess what, buddy? Didn't happen.
Did not happen.
And I had a backup plan. This was the backup plan. Broadcasting was the backup plan. But I'm so glad that my parents told me, hey, you need to have, we want you to do that. We want you to accomplish all your dreams, but you better have a backup plan to do it. You're not crapping on your kids' dreams if you're setting them up for success, right? The baseball to me was the carrot that got me to college. While in college, you come to a lot of realizations of the real world because you don't necessarily have that golden dome over your head and you're sitting there like protected from everything. You've got to make some tough choices about your time, about your finances, about all that. There's a way for parents to do it. There's a way for family to do it without necessarily putting your dreams of being an athlete out to dry. And you got to do it, man. You got to have that conversation tonight. If you haven't had it, you have to have it tonight.
And that's one of the reasons why last summer I ended the last 2 weeks of summer by interviewing D1 softball athletes to ask them about what they did to get to that level. So our softball athletes, or any athlete really, could hear what you have to sacrifice to get there, what it takes to get there, what things they wanted to know before they got there that they know now. All the exact same question that you asked Mackenzie Riccatelli, I asked every athlete I interviewed, what do you know now that you wish you knew before you got into college? And it's just a little resource because not everyone has access to someone that played D1, a D1 college sport. So you can go in there and you can see, hey, this person said this, and they were all very real conversations. And I wanted to give, especially softball athletes in the area, because we have a lot of really good ones that are aspiring to go pretty far into college softball, what it takes to get to that level. So we were trying to give everyone in the YSN area resources of people to listen to, people to look up to, and people to kind of have that conversation with.
Well, here's the other thing, and kind of, going off of what you said and kind of tying into what I said earlier, people look at D3 and they go, okay, well, that's D3. They're just kind of, playing and just having fun. There's bullshit. I mean, I hate to say that, but right. You go into some of those weight rooms, those meetings, those trips. It's not, ultimately, is it fun when you look back at it? Yeah, but there's to go tell Mount Union that what they're doing is all for fun. It's all for show. Like there's nothing to it. It's every bit as serious as Division I. Is the talent level necessarily the same? No, but you're still playing for your school. You're still playing for your community back home. You're still playing for the community that you represent while you're at college, while you're at a university. I get real tired of it. And here's the thing. If you are good, the scouts will find you. I've had friends that were D3 that were drafted that played professionally.
Yep.
Now it's not all of them, and obviously they've got an uphill battle. But you and I have had this conversation offline, and I think we need to make it an online conversation. Women have a distinct disadvantage when it comes to being professional athletes because there's just not as much out there. Nope. But they have a distinct advantage because they go to college understanding that very notion.
Right.
And that's why they do better now professionally than men in the real world, because guys are sitting there putting all their eggs in the which are very expensive, by the way, putting all those eggs in the basket of, well, if I don't do well in my theology class here in college, that's okay because I'm still going to get drafted in the 36th round. Well, guess what? It ain't happening. Right. And tough for you. You're not going in some of these people, boys and girls, men and women, do not make that switch. That light doesn't go off or go on rather, and they are not able to make that transition from high school to college because they're putting all their eggs in. I was going to be a Dallas Cowboy from the time I'm sorry, but there's things that you can do in college build an education, build a portfolio that you can be a Cowboy in a different way. You can go get hired by the Dallas Cowboys to be their marketing specialist. You can be their video specialist. There's social media right now, more than ever before in our lifetimes. Sports is a business, and business is booming right now. So if you're not able to wear the spandex on Sunday, that's okay, because they can still put you in a suit on the sideline and you can contribute in different ways, and you still get a big old shiny ring if the Cowboys win that Super Bowl. Now, that probably won't happen. So just don't hang on that dream. That one you might not be able to help that one.
Wait a while for that one.
But what I mean, you get my point here. Like,
yeah. And to your point about athletics, I mean, just to put it in perspective for all my girl athletes out there that dream, like, keep dreaming. And I'm not saying that sarcastically. But if you're a volleyball player, there are exactly 2 that I know of professional volleyball leagues out there. Neither one of them have a lot of players in them. Combined, they drafted, I think, 40 players this year from the college ranks to play into their league. So, if you're not one of the top 40 players, you're not playing professionally here. You still have internationally, fine. You can go play in Europe if you want to. Same thing with basketball. You got the WNBA, and Athletes Unlimited has like 4 teams, and then it's international. So your window is very small. WNBA is much smaller than the NBA, right? And there's 12 teams, I think, in the WNBA. So you got the smaller
Rockers.
window. Softball.
That's all I know.
Softball. You got Athletes Unlimited and one other league. So same thing with volleyball. They draft maybe 40 players a year from college. Unless you're top 40, it's not happening, right? So you can go play internationally. You can play on Team USA. But if you're not doing one of those 2 things, the window is just a lot smaller. We have, I think, one former YSN athlete that I know of that has played professional sports on the female side, and that's Adria Powell from Hubbard playing volleyball in Europe. So one in the last 8 years that we've been a company. So if you're that one, God bless you, and keep going.
But I'll tell you what,
have that real conversation.
If you're a Rottweiler like Mackenzie Riccatelli,
right.
I mean, the thing is, she might go to the WNBA. There's an opportunity. There's a chance.
Right.
There's a chance for everybody, right? But there's also a chance that someone sees her in corporate America, and I know she wants to be a teacher, but someone sees her in corporate America and they see NCAC Newcomer of the Year, 2024 YSN Big Dog of the – like, the more of the years that you can get on that resume, the better off it's going to be when you present that to an employer and you go, hey, look, my team went from 1 and whatever to 500 in 1 year, and the difference was this person, the person whose resume you have in your hands right now. And there's a lot of impacts, and I'm sure that Mackenzie would sit there and be like, and she did, my teammates. And her dad does the same thing. Like, the team that they're building in Worcester, that's phenomenal. But there's also a common denominator. And that common denominator used to wear the 41, and now she wears 14. And you sit there and you look at that. Leaders are leaders no matter where you put them. Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer that leaders can grow, but you're either born a leader or you're not. It's just how it is. The gene's in you or it's not. And she's a leader, and she's going to either be leading in the classroom or, my gosh, she could be leading the leader of the free world if she really wanted to, because I'm sure that people would get in lockstep with what she has to bring to the table by the time that she's old enough to do it. Dude, I'm telling you, there's going to be a female president. And as a girl dad, I can tell you that. And we're not getting political, but what I'm going to tell you is there is a damn good chance that that female president, whenever she gets into the Oval Office, will have played sports. Straight up. And I'm that is no exaggeration. I'm absolutely 100% sure that is going to be what happens, because leadership, sports is your first taste of that leadership bug. It's your first taste of, hey, you go from being the 12th on the bench to the first on the floor because of your leadership. It doesn't matter how big you are. It matters how big you want to be. You know what I mean? Like Mackenzie Riccitelli, you'd think that she was 6'4" with all the great things that she's been able to do and the resume that she has. But when you realize that she's done it as a young, just prominent human being that doesn't stand necessarily any taller than I do, dude, I'm telling you, she's a force. She's an absolute force. And, we need people like her, and we have them. We have so many of them that want to be leaders. They can learn something from Mackenzie. They can learn something of, hey, okay, you're not going to let me in your club. I'll go make my own. You don't want me at your table? I'll go build my own. That's the kind of girl that Mackenzie Riccitelli is. That's why we love her.
Yep.
Oh, boy, here we go. EB with a novel. Professionally, you're roughly 0.5% of the 1%. Wow. See, he's got stats. EB, who's got a ton of stats. I'm going to see if EB wants to join us real quick. Hang on. Talk about this. Anthony, say something funny or read that if you can.
Oh, geez, I'm not. Let's see. No, that's too much. I would be no, we're not reading that. But
EB, thanks for your novel.
let's have you on, EB. EB, by the way.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute. One of those guys who can have those tough conversations with players and get them to where they want to be. He's gotten players to really good situations in college, and he'll continue to do that because he knows exactly kind of how to evaluate that and how to get you into a spot that is really good for you.
All right, I'm going to try to give this a go here because for some reason our screen gets smaller and smaller every day with all these things that our friends at StreamYard put up. Professionally, you're roughly 0.5% of the 1%. To have an impact, there are many more who are going to giving back by helping out college club programs, youth programs, etc., which are all equally as important to and impressive, while inspiring. Too much, EB. And ladies and gentlemen, to read his novel at this time, one of the greatest coaches up and coming in our generation or any. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, as always, to YSN, Eric E.B. Bailey.
What's up, guys?
Hey, we were just reading your bestseller on the New York Times list.
New York Times?
What? All right, explain your comment.
I don't know. I mean, you guys made a lot of good points, but if you kind of play the percentages, D1 athletes are like not 1%. So to get professionally, and Anthony kind of related to it, like you only have 14 WNBA teams, so you're taking 2 rounds, so 60 players, or not even that, 28 players, and then just insert whichever. So you're kind of like the 0.5% of the top 1%. But I think what people don't realize when it comes to sports, especially women's sports, the way that these girls start to affect, the industry, whether it's softball, volleyball, basketball, whatever it may be, is generally outside of the professional realm. Like there's a lot more basketball players now who are starting club programs or getting back into AAU and giving back that way and helping that next generation get to wherever they want to go as far as college. And I know everyone hangs up on the Division I, that's an end all be all, but that's just going to get tougher and tougher anymore with the portal and the rules changing there. And you have kids around here who might have went D1 or now they're looking D2, or you see what kids at the D3 level are doing, not just Ken's, but I've had a multitude of players who played for me via AAU or just high school that went D3, and they've had great success. So, and those girls, like they still want to give back one way or another. And maybe it's not being a professional athlete, but they start to help with the youth, or they start youth programs. I just know with our youth program, you have a ton of women, I should say, that were great basketball players in our area. And then maybe they went to play, Division III, Division II, or some other sport. Maybe they didn't, but then they kind of utilized their love and passion to bring it back to their own community. So it's one of those, there's multiple different ways to do it. And I think a lot of times we get too caught up in the, hey, if I don't go D1, I'm not successful, but you're going to have probably a larger impact outside of what you could ever do professionally just by kind of giving back too.
All right. So I have to ask you this question, because you're a guy that is an incredible evaluator of talent on the basketball court, boys, girls. And you also do a lot of kind of, I don't want to say marketing, but speaking on behalf of and connecting the dots for some of these players. What is the conversation like whenever parents or student athletes come to you and say, I'm not going D3?
First question is why? Why? But I think that's too many people want to sell a dream or give the smoke and mirrors, but they don't know like what's wrong with D3. There's a lot more D3 opportunity, and even taking visits with hypothetically, I'll use her name, Abby Davidson, who went to YSU. Now she's navigating the portal, whatnot. That's her story to tell. But we visited D3s, and she absolutely had nothing bad to say about it, and she didn't think she was above it. My question always is why. A lot of times our girls from this area in general, they're homebodies. So, and that's the great thing about the D3 and even those D2 schools is they give you that hometown feel, but they're just a little bit bigger, and sports are a little bit different. But the question, they're not going D3. I'd say why? What's your parameter to why are you thinking so less of it or low of it? Mount Union, for example, right now has a ton of athletes from our local area who actually had D2 offers, and whatever the reasoning for going to Mount, whatever it is, but they're equally just as competitive. You can look at your Baldwin Wallaces, you can look at your John Carrolls, Westminsters. We have a ton of D3 schools around here that have kids playing that had ample opportunity to play up higher, and I think once they get on campus and they see what it really is and realize that, hey, I'm here for, basketball, football, baseball, whatever it is, it's the other 80% of life that they got to figure out that's going to help them too. And that's where I think D3s kind of have that advantage. And also, the D3s give you a lot more, I guess, sport life balance. And a lot of D3 coaches will tell you that, you're not tied to being, sports all the way through the summer or during the season. Once you're done with practice, you can kind of have a little bit more of a life balance, or if you want to go home, it's not like you're tied to certain things. So there's plenty of advantages to Division III, Division II, JUCO, NAIA. They each offer something a little bit different, but I don't think anyone should ever go into a situation thinking they're above whatever that level is. So we get too caught up in what the level is.
Right. Just to go deeper into that conversation, EB, the old adage is comparison is a thief of joy. How much do you think that, when you look around and you open social media, especially if you're an athlete, you see, oh, they signed to Oregon, they signed to Pitt, and then you want to be that, and you kind of compare yourself to these athletes. How much do you see comparison, especially on social media, be a problem with holding these players back and not being able to see the D3 and D2 opportunities?
It's like you said, it's a thief. It's a natural human thing that we all compare each other to one another. It's kind of a ego thing, but your story is your story. So don't give your pen to someone else to write it. Like that's my take on it. And any of my girls, and I'll start to navigate a little bit more this year with my AAU group because they're all going. They just finished up their junior year. They all had a great year, but the message will always be what fits in and what is best for you might not be for your teammate. We all have different paths. So, you got to walk down that path and take it as it comes. Like we can't compare. There's going to be a ton of people in the area. Sophia Gregory's having a phenomenal year. There's no one else who should compare themselves to Sophia Gregory because Sophia Gregory is just focusing on what Soph does. If there's a junior in high school trying to compare themselves to Soph, you're just limiting your options and opportunities because you've set a precedent that it's either this or bust. And she's a unique player. I mean, every kid needs to understand that they are one of one, and what you put on the back of that sports card is up to you, no one else.
Timing is a big thing of this too. I mean, that's one of the biggest things that people don't realize is timing is everything when it comes to getting a job or landing at college and being on a team. I'm sure there's, I want to go play football for Ohio State, right? But like at the end of the day, if you're a wide receiver and they don't need wide receivers, it's probably not going to work out well for you. You've had many of these stories, I'm sure, EB, from timing perspective. But I also want to roll this in. Because coaches are recruiters and most people don't see them as that. They see them as this figure that should be, idolized and bronze statued in whatever campus you're on. What's one good question or a couple of questions that you would advise parents or student athletes to ask that coach to kind of maybe present a little bit of a truth serum to?
One would be, just kind of ask them there. I think sometimes people try to tailor like the perfect question, and you just got to be authentic. Like, hey, be honest. Where do you see me? Where do you see me in your program? Sort of like a job interview, where do you see me in your program? What's the school, or this is what I'm looking to study. What do you feel about that? School life balance, or, just any concern that you have. I can't pinpoint like one question that would set it apart. A lot of these college coaches would sit there and say, look, I bust my butt and chase your butt all around America, especially depending on what you're doing, so when we get down to those points, like that's why you got to have those conversations, whether you're interested or not. One, you don't know where these college coaches are going to end up. Many of them start D3, they work up, or they started at D1, and to get their own program, they take a D3 job. So I think the best thing you can ever do, it's not the questions that you ask, it's just being 100% honest. Ask them anything and everything that you can think of. They are tying their time, resources, money, whatever it may be, into you. So just being authentic and yourself is the most important thing. It's not so much, the right question. It's just, are you being honest with them? Because too many times we get caught up, I got to ask this perfect question because you want to hear what you want to hear. I would ask them the tougher questions or things that you're really nervous about, or that maybe you don't want to hear. Like what's your pain points, or maybe discuss your concerns more so than what you like. And that's where their job is, to kind of smooth that out and iron out those details for you.
To ask the right questions, you also have to do the right research. What is a couple of things that you think kids should know before they even go into that conversation with a coach? What are some individual research things that you think kids and parents should be able to know before they even step into that conversation?
This would be a great question for Ken's too, because Donnie, and they research, hey, this is a good fit for a program. What's a program like? So, you want to look into that. What's a campus like? Get your boots on the ground on that campus, because when you drop your kid off in August, are you going to be comfortable when you can't just, you're breaking their routine that they've had for 12 to 13 years. They wake up, they go to school from 8 to 3, they have practice, they're done homework, go wherever, so now your routine's out of it. So are you comfortable with how your new routine's going to be? And then, you got to research campus resources. What are you close by? I know a lot of people look at it as, I'm far enough away, but I'm close enough to home in case anything happens. I would kind of look at the history of the coach. Have they been 1-2 places and then they bounce? Or, I also kind of look at everyone else on the team. What's the makeup of the team? It's just, you dive a little bit into it, and you gotta, dot some I's, cross some T's. And I'm pretty sure when Ken's went through it, she was with me down at Roses. I know Wooster saw her there, but she had to do her own homework. It wasn't just like, hey, Wooster sent me a letter, I showed up, and here I am. It all worked out. Her and Donnie were probably looking, okay, this is a drive time. Here's your games. Look at their game schedules in their leagues, especially for parents. You're gonna, I'm assuming most parents are going to want to go watch their child play. Like, well, are they playing, if they're in Ohio, are they playing over in Massachusetts, Michigan? Do they have trips to Florida, whatnot? Those are just all the little things that you got to look at too, because, for the parents, it's a huge expense. Whether your kid's getting money to go to school or not, the parents aren't. They still have to pay for travel and everything else. So those are just some little things that you can look at while you're going down that path as well.
EB, we missed you, brother. We missed you a lot. We're certainly grateful for your expertise. We know you've been keeping an eye on us. For people that were looking to keep an eye on you, what have you been up to, dude?
Work. Obviously, you guys know what I do. I help run the Ohio Lakers, so I'm back with my teams. I have my juniors and I have my 7th grade. So a lot of my juniors, you guys are all pretty well familiar with. They're all YSN kids. You'll see quite a few of them Sunday. So great for me. I'm excited for them. As they know, I will always support that, and what they do with their high schools is great. They have 100% support for me throughout the year, and I kind of just try to become that outlet as I'm not coaching high school anymore, or at least these past 2 years, to where they can kind of use me as a buffer. They all have frustrations, so it's show up, give them some support. Love watching them play. My 7th grade group, I'm excited with them. That's going to be the next crop that comes up through, and I love it because they all come from good programs. They all come from great coaching staffs. From 7th all the way up to 11th, they've all had great years. I've Allie Gassman from Girard. I have the 3 Allie, Tally, and Hallie V from West Branch, and Megan Evie had a great year at Columbiana. Reagan Roginski had a great year at Springfield. Mia Thomas from Howland had another good year, and she's a sophomore that's about to break out. So, those girls, they're getting towards that time of the year where if they're looking to go play, next level, we're trying to help them with that. And I try to help navigate those situations for them, but it's fun when they get to go represent their school at a YSN All-Star game, or what they'll do for their county All-Star games, because that's just credit to the embodiment of the work that they put in year round for it.
And we're going to see a multitude of your players at the YSN All-Star game, so we hope to see you down there as well.
I've already had schedule requests, because that's the first weekend of our tournament, so we will play early, and I told them I don't want anyone to worry about that, so they have plenty of time to get some rest and they can go play and enjoy. I tell them those moments are fun. They're kind of chaotic, but they're meant for them. So I want them to embrace and not even question if it's going to be something that they have to miss or anything like that. I want them at those all-star games because it's their name that they get to put out, and it's an embodiment of their work, their schools, and everything that they get to do for their communities too.
We appreciate you, brother. We will put a table out for you in Boardman so you can sign all of the copies of your newest best
newest book.
I'll keep it short. That's we got the rest out. I've talked enough already, but it's good to talk to you guys, and definitely we'll be catching up soon.
Appreciate you, man. You're always welcome here. This is home. Appreciate you.
Have a good one, fellas.
See you, buddy. Eric Bailey. My goodness. I miss
My man.
him. I miss him like no other. Like he is. And listen, he's going to be back.
Mhm.
He's going to be back. The golden era of YSN will be here very shortly. We're excited about it. What a show. I mean, kind of a mishmash. Like we kind of made the chicken pot pie today. And two great interviews. Great.
Never know. If you comment, we might just text you and be like, "Hey, come on."
Oh, crap.
You know?
now
we might
now
not.
look what we got.
We might not.
Now
we
look
could.
what you did.
It's our prerogative.
It's our, what's the word we used with Gary yesterday?
That's
Prognosticating. Yeah. We're going to prognosticate that. What's the word of the day? Yesterday it was hyperbole. Which went way sideways. Prognosticator was the week before. I don't know that we have a word of the day. Maybe that's the new
prerogative. Is prerogative the word now?
Yeah, if you're a new kid on the block, that's my prerogative.
There you go.
Do you know that's a song? Did you know that?
I did know that song.
Of course you did. DJ dancing. Always.
Always.
That is going to wrap up the regular portion of our show, but it is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark? Presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and you can visit them on the web 24/7, 365 at DickeyElectric.com. Spin it! What, Anthony, Mr. Twiggy, is your Joe Dickey Electric Spark?
All right. So the last couple of days, I've been watching a show on Amazon Prime called Invincible. And if anyone out there is a comic book fan or a superhero fan, it is like a super original take on the superhero world. And it's kind of refreshing to see not just a copy and paste of, every time someone brings out a new superhero kind of content that hasn't been done before, it's almost just a copy and paste of something that's come before anyway. So it's really nice to see a new show that's like, hey, we're going to take an original spin on this superhero kind of franchise, and we're going to do it the way that we kind of want to do it. And it's a really good show. So if you're a Prime member and you want to check something out in the next couple of weeks before spring sports gets kicking up, I would recommend Invincible on Amazon Prime.
I have not seen that. I do have Prime, so I'll have to look into that. What I would tell you probably not to do is what I've done the last week is get into the series on Netflix, American Murder. Not a good idea if you like sleeping at night.
No, it's
not super. Not my best move. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know about the Gabby
Petito.
Yeah. Thing.
It was a sad.
My goodness.
Sad affair.
I had no. I mean, it happened a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
3-4 years ago, over COVID, basically.
Mm-hmm.
My wife knew all about it. Like Sarah's giving me all kinds of spoiler alerts, and I'm like, man, like I was like, did this? And I'm not gonna spoil this one. I was like, did this happen? Yes. Did this happen? Yes. Like, dang it! Like, good documentary, AI involved, but terrifying if you're sleeping at night. Just to let you know, and especially if you have a daughter, probably sidestep that one. Just give it a little, maybe when I'm in 25 years.
Now you're gonna watch the next one, which is the Lacey Patterson.
Not gonna happen, buddy.
Because it's the next one in the series.
Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
I
think I'm done with those.
Our society has some strange fascination with true crime that's kind of almost disturbing sometimes. Like every time you turn on Netflix, like the number one show is always a documentary about some serial killer or some, documentary about some terrible event or terrible crime. It's like, why are we so locked into that? It's kind of weird. To each its own. At least you're watching it, not doing it. But at the same time, I'm like, oh man.
I mean, here's the real interesting part. In case I ever go missing, just letting you know, my wife is either watching Chip and Joanna Gaines, and then I'm like, man, I'm tired of watching this. And then the next time I come in, she's watching these true crime, like How to Murder Your Husband documentaries. And I'm like, Chip and Joanna Gaines sounds really great right now. Because
What
she's
are
in
you
there, like,
watching?
she's taking notes, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm gonna stay awake. I'm going down to the basement
Yeah.
where there's 900 baseball bats down there in case something goes awry. No, I hope my wife would never murder me, but if I come up missing, I'm just letting you know.
There's a suspect right there.
I'm just saying.
I'm sure there's a lot of internet people that would be a suspect too. By the way, we got those messages.
I can think
that
of
you
4 or
sent-
5 right off the
Those
top
messages
of
that you said not to send yesterday, it took like 2 hours for people to send. By the way, if people out there were wondering,
I was gonna leave it alone, but you brought it up. Come on, guys. Come on. I'm kind of serious, but I'm kind of like, do not like this All-Star game is not about. It's not about parents. I mean, it's about the joy of parents, I guess. You know, their children, but like this isn't about you or your kid over some other like. We keep getting asked, what's the stats don't matter. Da, da, da. Here's what I'm gonna tell you, and we know you support us, and we're not slighting your kid at all. We're really not. We have over 60 teams that we have to choose one from. And then some of them are getting 2. So here's what I'm going to say. The better your team is, the tougher the selection process is. And we're not slighting them by not taking them. And we're certainly not saying that they're a bad player by saying that they're not on our all-star team. That's not the case at all. Again, sometimes it's just timing. Sometimes it's something that we saw during the year on the floor or off the floor. Sometimes it's picking somebody up right when they're down. Sometimes it's something they've done in the classroom. Sometimes it's a suggestion from a coach and saying, or an opposing coach saying, hey, I think they really deserve this because of X, Y, or Z. Mm-hmm. Like, there is no magic, like unroll the scroll and here's who is going to be there. Sometimes it's, hey, this person can't go. So we don't want 600 guards in our all-star game. Sometimes it's just a big guy, right? Right. Sometimes it's your leading scorer. Sometimes it's your third leading scorer, but it's an outside shooter. We need people that can dunk, right? To have a dunk contest, that's pretty important. We need people that can shoot 3-pointers. That's also pretty important. And we also need people that don't bail on the All-Star game a day or two before the All-Star game. That's important. So there's a frustration in our scenario because, Anthony, you and I were there Friday, and we had some really tough decisions that we had to make. Frustrating because we want everybody to be there that deserves to be there, but it's just not, it's not feasible. And we can't have 17 all-star games. We have one all-star game. And if you've ever been, the benches are loaded to the point where they're in the stands.
Right.
And, you know, we're not saying your kid's not good. We would never say that. We're not even saying that they're not worthy. We're just saying that these are the spots we have. And, you know, if you're mad at us about that, I apologize. But if this is the toughest thing that you have going, man, you should be really proud of your situation. You know, like I was astonished that we got one literally 2 hours after we had this.
Right.
I'm hoping they didn't see it. Like, that's all I'm hoping. But we know it's coming. And then
and look, the more graphics that come out, the more it's going to come. This is the reality.
We got lambasted this morning about our selection process. So, sorry that, you know, we don't have 900 spots. We think we're stretching it pretty thin at 35 a team.
Yeah,
because then we're going to get yelled at by people who do make the game that don't play for the entirety of the game. Sorry, guys. You know, we're doing the best we can to give that platform to your student athlete, no matter what it looks like. So we're hoping, you know, we're not victims at all. We're not. I'm not trying to make you feel bad for us or get sympathy from you. We don't need it because we're doing what we think is best for the area. But unfortunately, kind of this whole conversation, the entire hour and 19 minutes has been, parents, you got to take a breath. you gotta take a breath. Like, it's not the end of the world. And, you know, you should, even if your son or your daughter doesn't make this team, you should come out and support their teammates. Like, that's what good teammates and good communities do. And, you know, whether it's boys game or girls game, I mean, you should be supporting the people that are playing in the game from your community, because I would and tell me if I'm wrong, I would think that if your son or your daughter was on the floor, you would want those other people to do the same for them.
I would hope that's what you want. You know,
Just thinking, like sometimes you got to lead by example, right? You
if
got
they
to
saw
be the
some of
card.
the comments and the messages, they might not decide to come out and support you at that time. But
Hey, what I promised you what was going to happen, right? I promised you, and one day this will happen. And I'm not trying to be an agitator, but like if you come to me during a game and you say, "Why didn't my son or daughter play in the game?" I'm going to take you gently by the hand, like my son, over to the parents and the player that you're talking about, and I'm going to say, "Repeat that," and then we'll see if you still have the intestinal fortitude to say that.
Nice.
Because I mean, I think that is the biggest slap in the face. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know that I would ever put that. Like some of those things, like you have to call because you're like, if this goes into a text, I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would ever have the, what did I say, intestinal fortitude to put that in a message on social media or otherwise to a company that has that access, can screenshot it and can say, "Hey, did you know about this?" Like that's a tough look.
Mm.
That's a tough look. And I like, that's why I think, and this is 10%, give or take. And that's even probably, even that's a frustrating number, right? To parents that are doing things the right way. Because parents are probably sitting there watching this and they're like, "What they do? What?" You know what I mean? Like, and this isn't a spoof. This is happening like as we speak. I bet we open up our messages and there they are. It's asinine and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for us. So I can't even imagine how frustrating it is for an athletic director who probably deals with this and juggles like they're in the circus. A coach who guaranteed there's somebody out there that says, "Well, my kid's a senior. He deserves or she deserves to be in an all-star game." We know those conversations take place. Mm-hmm. We know for a fact those conversations take place because we've had people that were threatening, not this year, but in years prior, threatening that they won't allow their players to ever play in our game again unless this person is invited. That's not the way we roll. Like and don't text that to us. That is the dumbest. Like, do not do that. That's a bad idea. Like, that's a conversation. So that way, when the lawyers get involved, we can't prove it. Here we go. Q.
Well, that's a novel too.
Bestseller for Q. I love that it's almost never the player. Yep. You can read right through that. Q, you're absolutely right with that. It's never once has it been the player. Never once has it been the player that's been frustrated.
The worst thing we've gotten asked by a player is this: how do I get in the All-Star game? Not like why did this person get in ahead of me? Like, how do I do it? Like what can I do next year to get in the All-Star game? That's a perfectly good question to ask.
Nice. Hey, that's it. Q. Great comment. That's what we want our comment section to be. We want you to be part of the show through comments and like Anthony said, almost. I'm almost afraid to say it again. You never know when you're going to get texted and say, "Hey, let's pop on the show and let's have a conversation about this," because this could be a show by itself. This whole narrative. Now we don't want, because it's very negative, but it is very real. It is punch you in the face, knock a tooth out real. And man, it sucks. It sucks. And the problem is nobody's having that conversation. Coaches are sitting there. Yes. Thank you, Q. We love you tuning in. We appreciate all the support, that everybody's been, especially as the new format here at the show. But dude, you and I see it, and we both just kind of grab our foreheads and stretch our face when we, and I can only imagine, like, I know you envision when that message comes through, you usually send me a text, but we both have very visual membranes up here that when stuff happens, I'm like, okay, I wonder how Anthony's handling it. Like sitting there watching TV, watching your terrifying whatever you're watching, like my wife, and then you're like, oh my gosh.
The nightmare is real.
And you're getting about 75% ish. Like we've, outside of my personal email or my corporate email, you don't get to see those. Those are real interesting.
That's the dark side.
That is the Sith. Execute Order 66. I'm number 66. No! Don't kill me. I'm sorry. They can be in the All-Star game.
It's fine. Go.
Fine. You got it. You win. But I'm drawing the line at the dunk competition. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe that's the ultimate spin is for these interesting parents or supporters. Maybe whoever will say, hey, sure, we'll invite him to the All-Star game and then just put him in the dunk contest, whether they can dunk or not. Wouldn't that be the ultimate?
Find a way. How am I supposed to
Figure it
dunk
out,
this?
kid. Hey, Mom and Dad said you could be in this. Go get them.
Go.
That's the next move. That's the ultimate chess move is, all right, you want to be in? You're in. Checkmate. Until they're like 7 foot tall and they dunk like a monster. We're not opening that. That's not real. Please do not do that. Please do not send us messages to be in the All-Star game just so you can be in a 3-point competition or a dunk competition. I don't know. That was a bad idea, DJ. Dumb.
Come support your teammates.
Yeah, do that.
Hey, Gavin Gregory did last year, and he got called out from the crowd to do the dunk contest. So you just never know what could happen if you're being a good teammate and sitting in the crowd.
I'm going to be disappointed if Gavin doesn't show up because he's invited. He's 100% invited. We want him to be in the slam dunk competition. I think our 3-point is closed. I think I closed it out last night, so I'm excited. We have some shooters in this competition, and everybody coming for Luke Rowan's crown. Like they are coming at him.
Luke Rowan's going to be like Liam Neeson and Taken.
I have a very specific
particular set of skills.
I want more than anything, and I know we got to wrap this up. I actually don't have to, but I got to go pick up my kid. I want more than anything for showmanship in this year's skills competition. Boys, girls, doesn't matter. Like if you're in the dunk competition, if you don't have that high flying, like can do the windmill dunks and the East Bays that between the legs, and I think that's what they call it. Which is it's always caught me. Side note, interestingly, because East Bay used to be a catalog you could buy stuff from, like sports. Like I never understood why it was called an East Bay. Maybe it was because that's the dunk that was on. That might be it. We just solved. I mean, man, we just solved it right there. World's problems. Bring them to YSN Live. We'll solve them. 30 seconds. Done. Unsolved mysteries. Sorry about your luck. We're not able to do that. I still can't watch or hear that theme song. But no, I want to see mascots. I want to see we want a very communal event, and I think that we can do it. And certainly, the more showmanship that you bring to the night, the better your scores are going to be. Now, I'm not a judge, but I can probably have some influence. You want to release some judges real quick for those that are watching the show?
If we got some confirmed, let's do it.
Confirmed 100%. The former middleweight champion of the world, Kelly Pavlik, once again graces us with his presence. KP, the ghost, the champ, is going to be part of our slam dunk competition. We're excited for that. We also, as of yesterday, nailed down Boom Mancini. He will also, these guys know a thing or two about scoring. You got to score in boxing.
They'll also
So
hit you if you argue their scores. So
yeah,
don't
and
step
I
out of
mean,
line.
you got two. Yeah, and we're protected. So you wanna throw some haymakers? You're gonna have to get past Big Brother Kelly. Both have the same look going. Okay, don't get us confused. That'll be a big mistake. Big mistake. So we got Kelly, we got Boom Boom, we have Judge Joe Schiavone will be joining us.
The judge is gonna be a judge. Can he bring his gavel?
I think that's a great idea. Maybe we'll bring a gavel for him in honor. Maybe we'll buy gavels for him because they're all judges.
Yeah, I like that idea.
That'd be good. We have a few more out there that Jeremy from Youngstown Pizza Reviews is going to be a judge with us. So we're excited for that. He knows a thing or two about scoring. So great friend of the program, great friend of YSN, and a personal friend of mine. I'm excited for that.
He may or may not take bribes before the game from pizza. I mean, if you bring him pizza, he might be able to bump up that score a little bit.
Oh, there's 100% chance that you can bribe Jeremy. There's not even a doubt in my mind. If you're bribing somebody, Jeremy's the guy to go at. So just letting you know. I'm not saying he's a scumbag. Like, he's not like that, but he's a human being. And give him food or money. He doesn't care.
Money.
Gift cards. Just no dirty diapers. Like, let's leave that out of the equation. I don't know why that even popped in my mind, but I just saw some weirdo handing him a dirty diaper, and that wouldn't be good.
Hey, make sure I get a good score, buddy.
Hey,
thank you.
This is what I think of you, pal. And we have a couple more that we're hanging on to because we got. I mean, if we get these two that we really, really want. And I think would be, we're talking epic. And I think it's a great opportunity. It's going to be a fun night. And it's all people have been asking. We haven't made it 100% official. It will be going to the Rich Center for Autism this year. So we're excited. We will have 4 different T-shirts available for purchase. And the participants will get the shirts for free. There is a blue shirt, a red shirt, a yellow shirt, and a green shirt. All in, I don't know if you've ever seen the puzzle piece that goes together that represents autism. That's the idea behind these shirts. I'm looking forward to that. I think it's a really cool idea. Usually we just have one shirt with a motivational quote. These are going to be 4 different shirts, and I think we're going to go with 4 different motivational quotes on the back of them because I think that's it's just different. It's just different. And then that way you'll have the chance to buy a shirt of your choice, if you're choosing, while supplies last. We're ordering a limited supply of them. And once they're gone, they're gone. We will also have discounted gray shirts from last year's Boardman All-Star Game on sale. They will be $1. $1. So if you want to, if you're just looking for a shirt, a commemorative shirt, something to wear, something to have, whatever, we will have those shirts available for $1. And again, all the proceeds that we have will go to the Rich Center for Autism. We're so excited to be teaming up with them once again, and we'll cut them a big check, hopefully, and say thank you for all you do, and naturally everything that they've done for this area in the world of autism, and the great people over there doing just unbelievable work. And it's just another way that we are trying to lead the way in showing how to give back and why you give back. Because when God gives you this extraordinary set of talents and skills, you got to use it for good. And our athletes and student athletes that have participated in our All-Star games have done exactly that every single time. And I could not be more grateful for that. Thank you to them. So I think that's going to do it there, Cowboy. What do you say?
I think so.
That's going to do it for our show today. Thank you to Mackenzie Riccatelli. Thank you to Eric E.B. Bailey. And certainly check out his new book where it is available. He'll be signing autographs at the YSN All-Star Game. Thank you to Quentin Cross for chiming in today. Greatly appreciate it. And Sam Torres also had a couple great comments here today and was thoroughly entertained like he was Maximus Meridius. What's his last name? Maximus Meridius. It doesn't matter what his name is. That's going to do it for our. I stumped Anthony. I got you.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
For Gladiator, thumbs up.
That was Caesar. That was not Maximus.
Well, you were going
Decimus.
for Gladiator, right?
Maximus Meridius Decimus. I think that's what his name was. That's a badass name, dude. That might be a dog name in the future at the Oakley house. That's going to do it. Anthony's got to take a swig of water, Napoleon Dynamite style. We're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday. We will have Louisville guys on the show. Good luck to Canfield tonight. We'll have it on the network. Whoa. We want to thank our sponsors, by the way, who make this show possible for you each and every day. Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. Greg Greenwood and all the folks over there. Tracy, who you see all the commercials about. Thank you to them for making this show each and every day, for allowing us the rope to speak our minds and to bring student athletes, coaches, and community members on this show. One of our first big supporters of a show like this, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Thank you very much. We also want to thank our friends at Toyota of Warren. Tino and his whole crew over there. Tino, the general manager, Tino Merlo, very proud and grateful for everything that they've been able to do for us. And this partnership continues to be a beacon of light for everybody in the community. So thank you to Toyota of Warren for everything they do. And you can check out the Toyota Tundra tonight at the Eastwood Mall. We will be there for the fashion show, the Spirit Fashion Show. Stop by, say hi. Let's get some pictures. Let's take some selfies. Looking forward to that. Come meet me out there. Show starts at 6:30. Anthony, that's going to do it for our show officially. Thank you so much to everybody. Yeah, we're wrapping up. I'm sorry.
No, I was just like,
oh, okay. I thought you were wrapping up. Like,
I thought you were gonna like start to wrap it up. I was gonna do one of those like, I don't know. My brain is going off the reservation.
I love you, buddy. Appreciate
We're good.
You. That's it for YSN Live for this Thursday, March 6th. We'll see you on the 7th day of the third month of the year in 2025 tomorrow, noon, with the Louisville Leopards. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.